Math 20s, this example comes out of 1.1, arithmetic sequences. We talked about what a sequence is. It is just an ordered list of numbers that follows some kind of a pattern, and it's arithmetic if it has a common difference. So if you take one term and subtract the term that came before, if that gives you the same answer every time, you have an arithmetic sequence. One of the things they will ask you to do in 1.1 is to find what's called the general term of an arithmetic sequence. And for this, you have a nice little formula. It's right at the top of your formula sheet. In fact, it's the very first thing you'll find on your formula sheet since this is chapter 1. Tn equals T1 plus n minus 1 times d. It's actually quite easy to use if you know what these things stand for. So Tn is just the general term. It's saying if we're looking for term n, any term. T1 is the first term of the sequence. N is what number of term in the sequence you're talking about, and D is the common difference. Easier to show with an example. So here's a simple example sequence we saw in an earlier example, 2, 5, 8, 11. I can see there is a common difference. It's going up 3 every time. I see that term 1 is 2, and the common difference is 3. If I know those two things, I can come up with the formula, the general term as they call it. So the general term is just going to be 2 plus n minus 1 times 3. Sometimes you'll see it left that way, but more often than not, they'll get rid of those brackets by saying, oh, okay, well, 3 times n is 3n, 3 times minus 1 is minus 3, and if I put my like terms together, I will have this, Tn equals 3n minus 1. Whether you use this version of it or one of the lines up above, what could you do with it? Well, if somebody said, hey, what's term 20 of that sequence? You could stick n equals 20 into it and say, oh, well, 3 times 20 is 60, 60 minus 1 is 59. And so rather than listing out 20 terms of this and saying, okay, next term, next term, next term, next term, next term, up to 20 terms, we could skip right to the 20th term, which you can imagine is pretty useful if somebody asks you for the 1000th term of a sequence. Rather than writing out 1,000 terms, you can just skip straight to it using the general term.